I'm bulletproof.
You're dead.
Sorry about your window,
Have a
but
good night.
you're welcome for not getting robbed. Oh, hey, what's up? I'm a superhero.
Hey everybody, it's Charlie. Happy Labor Day if you guys are celebrating it. We got a new Shazam trailer, so let's break it down. We got a little bit more of a look at Dr. Sivana, played by Mark Strong. Funny to see him show up after being in Green Lantern so long ago. You also may have noticed some of the jump cuts during this trailer. Like, they're obviously cutting together a bunch of different scenes. So like during the convenience store, they walk out with a bunch of soda cola, which is a nice Easter egg from DC Comics. But then right after that, there's a jump cut and he says, hey, I'm a superhero, and he's holding all this different junk food. That's probably just because this is a much longer scene and he walks back in and gets a bunch of different junk food after he walks out with the cola. Like, oh, we need some junk food in addition to the soda cola. There's all those Easter eggs from Man of Steel. There's the Batarang from Batman v Superman. I've already explained where some of those came from. Like the bullet that he has in there is actually a bullet that Batman fired at Superman during Batman v Superman, that somebody apparently just went around collecting all those shells, then sold them on eBay. And because Freddie Freeman is like the superhero fanboy, like the Justice League fanboy within the context of this movie, he's the guy that collects all that kind of stuff. Billy Batson, when we meet him, is kind of jaded. So I think that once he gets his powers, he slowly learns to be a part of this family. And if you read the Jeff Johns New 52 Shazam run, then you probably recognize all these scenes. They collected it later on, but Shazam New 52 origin story was all about the 7 deadly sins, Dr. Sivana, and releasing Black Adam. So I'm wondering if they're building towards a similar Black Adam reveal towards the end of this movie. So I'll explain what's going on with the 7 deadly sins in Dr. Sivana, because he is the main villain of this movie, but really it's kind of the 7 deadly sins. If you're not a big comic book reader, we actually saw the Greek gods during the Wonder Woman movie. Imagine they would have evil counterparts. That's kind of who the 7 deadly sins are. The weird thing about the Shazam character is that he's sort of this pan-magical character that sort of crosses over with all the other DC magical characters like Constantine, Wonder Woman because of what's going on with the gods, Dr. Fate, Zatanna, pretty much anybody that wields magic inside the DC universe, because the wizard Shazam has a seat on the Council of Eternity, and they're the people that rule over all magical things. So anytime they need to sanction someone or someone goes crazy like Black Adam, they usually get involved. When he gives Billy Batson his power, say my name, Shazam, that's him passing his seat on the Council of Eternity to Billy. But because Billy's a little kid, he totally doesn't get that. So this first big story of him getting his powers is all about learning just the mechanics of how those work, in the fact that he now has this greater responsibility to protect magic. Like you reread this panel here, your powers are vast. Beyond your flight and strength and spells, you can weave. There are so many, like he can actually weave spells. He doesn't know how to do it yet, but he can cast spells the same way that Zatanna or Constantine would. You must learn, watch over them, your family, as I should have. So his family is obviously talking about the Foster family, like Freddie Freeman and the other members of the Marvel family, but also sort of the magical community. The movie's a little bit more focused on this Foster family, though. Like, they're not going to try and get too complicated with that. Like, I'm not expecting too many other magical people to pop up in the movie. Once they introduce it, though, it's totally fair game, because they're still working on that Justice League Dark movie. But like you see Billy here, he realizes, my family, you know who my parents are? This is still before he's embraced that Foster family. Like, as he's slowly starting to learn about Freddie Freeman, you have that funny line, it gets real Game of Thrones around here. Most of you have probably already realized, even if you haven't read this comic though, this particular panel here, where the wizard says, family is what it can be, not what it should be. That is your secret spell, your ultimate power. That's foreshadowing for him sharing his power with the rest of the Marvel family so that they all get their powers. Because even though Black Adam was a big part of this origin story and he's not going to be in this first movie, it was all about Black Adam trying to release the 7 deadly sins and taking control of all magic in the world. So you have to imagine that what they've done with the Shazam movie is that they sort of swapped that for a more pure Dr. Sivana storyline. And the filmmaker has already said that the way they sort of wrote him into the movie is that he was actually at one time one of the candidates that the wizard decided to choose to accept his power, but it failed. Like, he was trying to impress his own family, Dr. Sivana, as a young person. His father was abusive, he was never able to please him, so it turned him evil, and eventually he sought power to just destroy everything. Like, imagine an Incredibles version of Syndrome. Like, he starts out as a little kid, really idealistic, but gets super jaded, and then eventually turns into this big, huge villain that tries to use the power of the 7 deadly sins, which are trapped in the Rock of Eternity. So I think they're trying to be relatively true to Dr. Sivana's backstory in the comics, while also incorporating sort of this alternate version of Billy's origin story that went totally sideways, which is also a little bit like Black Adam's origin story. So I don't think they're trying to borrow too much from Black Adam, because they will actually be doing a Shazam versus Black Adam movie, just not the very first stories that they tell. Because what happens is Dr. Sivana wants to use Black Adam's power for his own personal gain, so he frees him from imprisonment. He's been in there for about 1,000 years, so he comes out, and then it becomes sort of a Billy Batson versus Black Adam and Dr. Sivana who have teamed up. But then by the end, it becomes the entire Shazam family versus Black Adam. So I think they pushed off that part of the story where Dr. Sivana seeks out Black Adam's tomb, frees him, and then they team up. Maybe there's a post-credit scene where at the end he seeks out Black Adam, and even if The Rock doesn't appear on screen in costume, you still get a bit of a teaser. Even though I'm also expecting sort of a Superman, more happy teaser with Billy Batson, because Superman is invoked so much in this movie. But let me know in the comments, what do you guys think of this so far, and the idea that they're sort of splitting up that New 52 Jeff Johns origin story into 2 movies. In the first half will be all about explaining who the 7 deadly sins are, who Dr. Sivana is, why it's important for Billy to learn that secret spell, that his family is his real superpower. They become the comic book Shazam family, so that in the second movie, when you get the Black Adam reveal and he's released, they all fight him together. But I think a lot of that second movie will just depend on how this first movie does. I think it'll do okay, so I don't think there's any worry there. I think we're really just curious to see what they're going to do with The Rock's Black Adam character. And even though they still said that they're going to make a solo movie that'll set up his origin, I'm guessing that that's going to be set during the past, and they'll stick to this New 52 story where he's imprisoned at the end of that and then woken up during the Shazam sequel. But if you're wondering about Aquaman stuff, I think they're going to be dropping new trailers sometime in October, definitely by the time we get to November. So there'll be a whole bunch of Marvel trailers dropping between Captain Marvel and Aquaman and Shazam really soon. What'll probably happen in my DC movie videos that I do for the rest of the year is I'll do Aquaman ticket giveaways, just because that's the next movie that's coming up. But if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. Click here to rewatch the Aquaman trailer, and click here for the new Venom trailer. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.